Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's vlog. I don't know why I said good morning because it's currently 2:16 p.m. but today I'm finally doing the video you guys have been requesting for so long that I honestly meant to do like at least a month ago, and that is my postpartum update. I am 11 weeks postpartum now, so almost 3 months, and I literally have been meaning to do this since my 6-week update, or my 6-week like doctor's appointment, but things have just been like so crazy, so I'm just sitting down to do it today. And Cove is in her bed literally yelling because she doesn't want to take a nap. Do you want to try and give her her binky? We're actually going to get a couples massage today at 4. So I put her down for a nap a little bit early, hoping she would fall asleep early, and then I can wake her up early to feed her because I usually feed her at 4. And I don't know if you guys can hear her. She's like not crying. She just will like yell, which is really funny. I'm guessing that Lauren is going to babysit. Well, I'm not guessing she's going to babysit. She is babysitting. I'm guessing she's going to have to give her a bottle because it doesn't seem like she's going to sleep early. So I won't be able to feed her early. Anyways, I actually started off the day doing Orange Theory. It definitely was like a really good workout, but basically it's just like a workout class. It was really fun. So that is how I started off my day. Part of my postpartum update is that I do want to be working out. So basically I'm just going to kind of talk about like what it's like to have a baby, because unless you have like researched this or like been through it and had one yourself, you kind of just like don't know anything. So I was gonna write out like an outline for this video to like make sure it was organized, and then I was like, no, I just want to like talk. And now I feel like all my thoughts are like everywhere, but I'm gonna try and be organized and just kind of like talk to you guys about postpartum, like after you have a baby. So basically when I was pregnant, I did a lot of research on postpartum. I watched a ton of different YouTube videos. I wanted to know like newborn essentials, baby tips, like whatever kind of stuff I could find. I would look up like articles, like that's just how I am. I like to like be prepared for things and kind of like be educated. So there's a lot of things you can learn on YouTube. So I was watching tons of videos. Cove is still yelling. Here she is. She needs to go. She needs to go to sleep. So if you are pregnant, or even if you're not and you eventually like want to have a baby, or you just want to know some info, pay attention to this video, and also probably look up some other ones, because you need to know what your body is going to go through after you have the baby. It is definitely like harder than when you actually have the baby. I guess it kind of depends on how hard your labor is, but my labor luckily was like pretty easy and really smooth. And postpartum, even though I totally knew kind of like what to expect, it is just a process that your body goes through. So basically starting with actually having the baby. So I had an epidural, so you can't really feel anything. I could actually, honestly, I could feel a lot more than I thought I would be able to, like not actually of anything like having the baby, but I could like move my legs. Like I could not have gone up to walk or anything like that, or I couldn't even have like stood up, but I could like just like barely move them. So I don't know, I just thought that I would be like more numb than that. Maybe it's different for everyone. So after you have the baby, a lot of the times you will tear your lady parts. We keep videos on this channel PG. They tear and rip. I thought for some reason that like I would know if I tore. I thought I would like feel it, or I thought I would hear it or something. Also, sometimes doctors will actually like cut you instead of letting it tear, which my doctor said that letting it tear naturally is better for like the healing process rather than if you cut it. So I think every doctor is going to tell you a different thing, but there are like those two things that can happen, or if you're lucky you don't tear at all. And I think I said this already in a different video, but I definitely thought that I wouldn't really like obviously I didn't want to tear, but I was like, oh, even if I do, I haven't had a baby before, so I don't know the difference in like the healing process if you tear versus if you don't tear. So like I kind of don't really care that much if I do, because either way I don't really like even know what I'm in for, even though I kind of have like looked into like what to expect, you know, but I still like didn't know exactly what was gonna happen. So I did tear after I had the baby. I thought I was good for some reason, I don't know why, and then the doctor was like, okay, I'm gonna like check you for tearing, and I did tear, and I think she told me 3 different places, and then I swear I had stitches in like 4 different places. I don't know if she found another one and just like stitched it up and like didn't say anything because I was like hanging out with my baby or whatever. Why do you just walk around? She just walks around literally like looking for stuff to get into. So the doctor did stitch me up, which probably took about 45 minutes. I didn't feel any of it, again, because you're like numb, so you can't tell. But then I think it was probably like an hour or so, maybe 2 hours after I had the baby, the epidural had worn off enough where I could like get into a wheelchair. Like I was very heavily assisted when moving. I couldn't like stand up or anything completely on my own, but they do move you from the labor and delivery room to the like mom and baby unit. So I got into the wheelchair, moved over there into the other bed, and then eventually I had to get up and go to the bathroom. And they say that the first time you go to the bathroom, it like stings really bad because you like have stitches and stuff, and like a lot of stuff has just gone on down there. So I did like a birth story and like talked about my birth and stuff, and then I also did a video showing what I used in my hospital bag and also what they gave me. So I still have had this bag sitting on my bathroom floor for the past 11 weeks. So I kind of already showed all this, but as I like talk about stuff, I will just like show it again in case anyone didn't see that video. So this was what I wore after I had my baby. These are the hospital underwear. So a lot of people like to bring their own underwear. I got some from Target. I actually vlogged it, and I got some kind of just like bigger, like they're not even that big, but like kind of granny panty underwear, and I was planning on wearing those. I got a size medium. They honestly like were just too tight and too small. I did not like them at all. I definitely preferred these. So I don't know, a lot of people are kind of different. Some people hate them, some people like them. But that is what I wore. And then this is the first size of pad that they give you. So obviously this is very huge, but you do have so much blood, like so much blood. I knew there would be a lot, but I was kind of shocked at like how much there was. It was actually really, really crazy. You definitely do like need something this big. So I still have, they give you like a lot of extras and stuff, and I think you just have to like ask for them to give you a lot of extras if they don't, like if they're not already giving that to you. I had a whole bunch, and then anything else that I asked for, they gave it to me. So it kind of just depends on your hospital. But honestly, once you leave the hospital, you don't really need that many of like these ones, because you only bleed. It's different for everyone. Obviously, everything I'm saying is different for everyone, but I didn't really bleed super heavy for more than like 2 or 3 days. Like I did not need these for more than 2 or 3 days. They're very, very heavy. So I have a bunch of extras of those. And I also had like extra packs of the underwear and stuff. So I got up to go to the bathroom, and like I said, it kind of like burns when you pee a little bit. So they usually will give you a squirt bottle like this one. Also, don't be concerned about Luma. She just was outside for like an hour. She doesn't need to go out. So they call this a peri bottle. It's what the hospital gives you. So when you are going to the bathroom, you just like spray, you fill it up with warm water, and then you kind of just like spray this on yourself at the same time. This is like 1000% necessary. You have to have this, or else your life just is gonna suck. But I actually got this one. This is the Frida baby one. And so you don't like need this fancy one, but honestly, it was a lot better than this one, just cause like you hold it like this and the angle is a lot better. So you can spray it like right on yourself, whereas this, like just the angle doesn't really like work as well, you know? So I will link this down below if you guys want it, but I definitely recommend that one. And this is something else that I had that was totally extra, and I did not buy it for this purpose, but a company, don't even know who it was, actually sent us like a little mini fridge type thing that also heated up. So I would just fill this up with like regular cold sink water, and then I would put it in that little fridge thing on the heat setting. So I'll try to find a link to that. If it's not expensive, I definitely recommend you guys get it. You don't need it, but it is very nice. I'm also kind of jumping around back and forth because that's something I used at home, and I was just talking about my first hospital pee. But these are your pee supplies, guys. Hi. Stop. As for like what you feel like after you have a baby, you literally feel like you got hit by a truck. Like you cannot move, and you move so slow.
By a truck?
That's like what it feels like. Like you physically cannot move your body like at a normal speed. Yeah. And obviously having a baby is like a huge physical thing that you're going through, but you kind of just think like once the baby's out that you'll feel kind of normal. I don't know why, like I didn't actually think that, but you're kind of just like, hey, like the baby's out, like you're good, like your stomach is squishy and whatever, and you're bleeding, but like the rest of you, like why isn't it fine? But like I remember getting up to go to the bathroom was so, I felt like I weighed 7,000 pounds. I felt so heavy, and like you have so many fluids and stuff in you, like you just do not feel like a human. But it's okay because you're sitting there with your baby, and your baby's amazing, and you just are like so happy. But you definitely, like in terms of how you physically feel, like I felt so heavy and so like just you cannot like move. Like even like my arms and stuff, it's like everything is just so slow. So I got up to pee. It actually didn't really burn very bad when I peed. I think because, I don't know if it was just because I was spraying water on myself down there, but it wasn't really like too painful or anything. And then I also had some ice packs. I actually still have an extra one, but you do want to have an ice pack in there. That helps it feel very good. And then also I got these two things, and I've seen people talk about this one, but I haven't seen anyone talk about this one. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if only my hospital has it or what, but this is Dermaplast pain and itch spray. So you spray this down there and it helps to kind of just like numb everything. So I would have like the underwear, the pad, the ice pack. I would have this or this. They actually told me to alternate. So this is just kind of like the cream version of this. I think it kind of just says like temporarily relieves itching and pain and stuff like that. So I alternated between just like spraying this, or I would put this on these Tux pads. So these I got, the hospital gave me some, but it was like a smaller one. And then I actually went through almost 2 of these. So I have like a few left, but I went through almost 2 full containers of these. And these are witch hazel pads. So they also just help with like, basically just help you down there. So I would have underwear, and then I would have a pad. And then for the first like 2-3 days, maybe I had an ice pack. And then on top of that, I would layer like 3 cooling pads like in a row, and then I would put this gel on top, or I would spray this down there, and then you like pull it all up and like put it on your area, and it helps it feel a lot better. So those are the supplies. So definitely I asked for 2 of these, and this one is like almost gone, and that's the second one. And then like I said, I went through like 2 packs of these, and then I think that I only used like, I didn't even finish one of these because I just usually preferred to use the spray. I felt like it worked a little bit better. Then after probably like a couple days, obviously again it's different for everyone, but after a few days you can switch to a smaller pad. So I also vlogged when I bought these bad boys. These are honestly for me way too big, like huge. So this is what it looks like. I feel like I didn't even look at this because it has like a weird part on the butt. I don't know. But this is how big this one is. So it like goes up your butt kind of weird, which I just like didn't really like. This is like huge. If it didn't have this extra tail part that's like not really that excessively big, especially for the first little bit because you are still bleeding a lot. But these definitely were too big for me for the most part. So I don't recommend these ones. What I actually ended up getting was these ones. So the purple ones were the size 5, and then these are the size 2. So I would say after like a week, maybe 2 weeks, these were fine for me. The bleeding kind of like went down a lot for me, where this was definitely like enough, and I would still change this pretty much every time that I went to the bathroom, just like keep everything really clean. I still like the hospital underwear, like I said, so I'd have hospital underwear, and then this, a layer of these going across, so like 1, 2, 3, and then spray this like directly on me. So that was what I did for probably like, I don't even know how many weeks, probably like 2 or 3, and then the bleeding kind of would like obviously get lighter and lighter. So eventually I switched over to these. These are just little like panty liner things. So I had these, and I stopped using like this stuff after probably like 5 or 6 weeks, probably like 6 weeks, maybe 6 or 7. So then eventually I just only had these because you're still bleeding like a little bit, and I probably had these up until like 9 or 10 weeks. It would just be like a little bit of blood and stuff. I swear I read somewhere that there's also like tissue and stuff coming out of you. I don't really know if that's true or what, but there's still stuff that comes out. So I just needed something like super light because it's like not really a lot by like week 7, you know. But that is what I did for like after I had the baby. And then also literally guys, okay, so the first time I went pee, like the nurses are kind of like helping you and stuff. They'll do whatever you need. And then if you have like your husband or boyfriend or like girlfriend or whoever you have, like your mom, I would have someone else in the bathroom with you that you like know a little bit better. It's just a little bit more comfortable. So Parker was helping me, and I literally, you guys, I was so swollen down there. And this was probably like 2, maybe 3 hours after I had the baby. It literally, I was like, oh my gosh, it is inside out. I cannot even explain. I wish I had taken a picture, not that I would show you guys, but just to like be able to remember, because it is crazy. You are so swollen. I literally thought that it was inside out. I was like, something is wrong. I asked the nurse to come and like, I don't remember if I asked her to come look then, or like when I was laying in the bed, I was like, is it okay? Because I did not know. And it was fine, it's normal, but it was so swollen. And then something else that they do also that people will talk about is they like come and push on your stomach after you've had the baby because they're checking your bleeding and stuff. So the nurses will come in probably every like 2 or 3 hours maybe. They usually, like at my hospital, they had it on a whiteboard, and they would write down like when they were coming to check me and when they were coming to check on the baby. So they'll come and like check on you, push on your stomach. Honestly, it only kind of like hurt and was super uncomfortable like the first time that they did it. And I think also the first time they did, I full on just peed everywhere, but I had no idea that it was pee. I thought, because you have like an IV and stuff, so they're like pumping you full of fluids, and I was like, okay, so there's like a lot of fluid in me and whatever. I actually thought it was blood. So she goes to push on my stomach and like this big gush comes out, and then she like pushes on it again and like another big gush, and I was like, oh, is that blood? And she's like, no, it was urine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Like, I literally full on peed in the bed. That's another thing, is that your muscles down there, like your pee muscles and stuff, you absolutely cannot control your body, especially right after like that. I remember I would stand up to pee, and it was so like holding my pee in until I actually got over the toilet was so hard, because obviously you just like had a baby and everything's like stretched and kind of messed up down there. But I remember I would stand up and have to like, I could not like squeeze those muscles, and it was so hard. And even when I got home, like I would stand up and I don't know, something, I think my body would just like sense that I was like almost at the toilet, and so it would like try to pee before I was like sitting down. It definitely takes time. I asked the nurse, I was like, why like pee muscles come back, or like what is going on? And she's like, yeah, they definitely will. Like right now they're just all over the place, you know? So yeah, that's another thing. I feel like that's kind of everything that I wanted to mention. I also just saw this on the ground. This is like a healing balm. This is actually not what I use for my nipples, but that's another thing I could talk about, is like breastfeeding. I kind of have talked about that. I feel like I did a breastfeeding class, and so I kind of had like a lot of information on that, and I feel like that's why my breastfeeding experience so far has been really, really good. I haven't had any issues, but obviously when you're first breastfeeding, like your baby, like nothing has really been sucking on your nipples before, probably. They are gonna get sore. I definitely recommend having some type of healing balm. I had like I used a different brand. I had a couple of them. I don't know why I thought I needed more than one, because I did not, and I didn't even fully use up one of the ones that I had. So you definitely do not need more than one. I will link the one that I used down below. I really, really liked it, and I would just put it on after like every time that she ate. Basically, number one secret to like not having really hurt nipples is just to get a good latch. So like not just like the nipple, but like the whole areola, you know, the whole thing. You want your baby's mouth on the whole thing. So that's like gonna help a lot. So those are kind of like my main things to know about postpartum. And then I actually had you guys ask some questions on Instagram. This was quite a few weeks ago, because I was planning on filming this video quite a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna answer you guys' questions. This video is already so long, so I'm gonna try and like kind of answer fast. First question says, what was the worst part of postpartum for you? And this just reminds me that I did not talk about the stitches that I had, because like I said, I tore, and so my doctor gave me stitches, and they are supposed to dissolve. I asked you guys on Instagram like how long they take to dissolve, because it was probably like 6 weeks and mine were still there, and I was like, okay, is this normal? Every single answer that I got was different. So some said like 2 weeks, some said like 9. It was like all different. But the worst part, and something that I had watched so many postpartum videos, and something that nobody had talked about, like that I hadn't seen, was that your stitches will be so freaking itchy. I could not itch them. Like, you're not supposed to itch them, and it's normal for them to itch because that's like how they heal, you know? It's like part of the healing process. But I was like, oh my gosh, is this like infected, or like what is happening? But they were so itchy. I was literally spraying so much of this stuff on me like multiple times a day. I had to like ease myself off this because it was the only thing that made anything feel better. That and like the witch hazel pads and stuff, which are right here. That was definitely the worst part, especially because as prepared as I was, I had like done a lot of research, like I said, but I hadn't heard anybody say that your stitches are itchy, and so I did not know to expect that, and they were so itchy for like weeks. It was literally miserable. So that was definitely the worst part. Next question, what do you think you will do differently when you have your next baby? Honestly, I don't know really what else I will do different. I feel like the only thing I would try to do is like take more time off of work. I planned on taking like 4 to 6 weeks, and we were still gonna like post our videos and stuff, like post vlogs and whatever, but just like really on our own schedule whenever we wanted to. But we have just had a really busy last couple months with like working with different brands and stuff, and so I wasn't really able to take off as much time as I wanted to. I still feel lucky that I like get to work from home, so I can still spend a lot of time with Cove, and I can like choose when I'm working and stuff. But I do wish I would have like taken off a little bit more time and not really had so much on my plate so soon. But in terms of like my actual birth, or like my hospital bag, or like people I had in the room, stuff like that, I definitely would do, like, I don't have any regrets, and I would kind of do everything the same for my next baby. How many diapers does a newborn go through in one day? Usually Cove gets anywhere between like 10 to 14 diaper changes in one day, and that's kind of been the same since she was born, I feel like. Next question, did you prefer pads or adult diapers? That was something a lot of you guys told me to get, was like the always discreet like adult diapers, and so many people were like, oh my gosh, they're so much easier than like your pad and all your stuff. But I definitely do not think they would have been any easier, especially because you're like putting on all of this stuff like every time. It's so much easier to just like put it on a pad and like be able to take it off, and you don't have to like take off like a whole thing and put a new whole thing on, you know? So I definitely would not recommend diapers, but a lot of people said they like them. Next question, what does down there look like now? This is another interesting thing, because I feel like I've heard people say that it will like never be the same down there and it doesn't look the same and whatever, and mine looks exactly the same. Like nothing about it looks any different, especially from like the outside, you know, but even after I like examined it to like check it out, it honestly doesn't really look very different. So that's something that was kind of interesting, because I feel like people say that like it's never the same, you know, but at least like the way it looks pretty much the same to me. What was the hardest part about the whole experience? I think the hardest part is just kind of like dealing with postpartum in general, because there's honestly like nothing you can do to like make anything any better, you know? Like obviously you can use like stuff like this, like that makes it better, but that's kind of like the standard that like everyone does, like uses these like types of things, you know? Like most people that are like in America giving birth and like have access to these supplies and stuff. But other than those things, there's just like nothing you can do but like wait for your body to heal. Okay, next question says, what do you do right after birth? So I know I answered this somewhere, but I'll quickly kind of like summarize it. But basically you have your baby, they put it on your chest, and then you can tell them that you want to kind of like wait a second to do, I don't know, whatever they do to your baby, or they can do that stuff with your baby laying on you. Like I remember they listened to her heartbeat and stuff when she was laying on me, and then eventually they need to like take her away to like weigh her and do like her footprints and all of that stuff. But the first like hour after birth, basically you're just kind of like laying there, you have your baby on your chest, there's like kind of a few people in the room, like doctor, nurses and all that stuff, and basically the doctor is just kind of like, she stitched me up for probably, like I said, a good like 45 minutes, and it was just Parker and I together, like with our baby, just like spending time together. They deliver the placenta, which I don't remember that at all. I don't know how they got it out, I honestly don't, but I know that I didn't push it out. I don't know, but basically you're kind of just like laying there like with your baby, and everyone's just like doing stuff around you, and you just get to like relax a little bit, even though they're like working on you, but you can't really feel anything if you've had an epidural. Next question, how long did you have your postpartum bleeding? Like I said, it was probably like 7 or 8 weeks before it like fully stopped, and I like didn't need to wear like one of these anymore. Have you experienced any postpartum depression? This is a question I get a lot, and I have not experienced any. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that, because I like don't really have experience with it. But if you are feeling anything like that, definitely get help, because it's common to feel that way, and there are, you know, a million people that are going to be able to help you. So next question, how much time do you actively spend with Cove, aka like a baby? I've always wondered that. So basically, obviously I'm with her like all day long. She naps I think like 4 times a day right now. So she'll like wake up in the morning, I feed her, hang out with her. Usually she's awake for a total of like an hour and a half, like anywhere from an hour to usually like sometimes 2 hours, or sometimes she will just like not want to take a nap and she'll just like fight it and be really fussy and like overtired, and like I'm trying to get her to go to sleep. But usually it's for, at least at this point right now of her being a newborn, it's for like an hour and a half at a time, and then she'll go down for a nap for an hour and a half, wake up for an hour and a half, go down for a nap for an hour and a half. That's if she's like ideally following like the schedule that I have set for her, but obviously every day is different, it's not perfect. Did you get a lot of questions in public about your baby bump? I actually didn't. I think there was like maybe 1 or 2 times when people would say something to me, or maybe a couple at the end when my belly was like really big. Like when we went to get our new car, the girl at the front desk was like, oh my gosh, like your belly's so cute. But other than that, I definitely didn't have. I always hear people say that like old people will like talk to them and give them unwanted advice like at the grocery store or something. That never happened to me, luckily. Next question, was the mirror helpful during birth? So if you guys watch our birth video, they did bring in like a full-length mirror. They asked if I wanted a mirror. I thought it'd be a hand mirror. It was not. It was like a giant one on like wheels and stuff. And the angle that they put it at, I had to like strain my neck a little bit to kind of see what was happening. So it honestly wasn't that helpful, just because I couldn't really like see what was happening, but I could see for a second, and I could like, I looked like when I was pushing, and I could see her head kind of like as I was pushing, it would like come down a little bit, you know? So it was really cool, and I definitely recommend that because it's just like cool to see, but it wasn't like actually super helpful where I'm like, oh, that like really helped me, you know? Next question, how long does it hurt? Or no, how long before it doesn't hurt when you go to the bathroom? After like a couple days, honestly, it was never really super painful, because like if you spray warm water, literally water just came out of that. If you spray warm water when you're going, then it's like not very painful. And then you also have to just like, something else I didn't mention, you have to like dab with toilet paper. You like do not want to wipe, you just want to like gently like pat dry. But I would say after like a few days, it's not really like, it's still super sensitive for sure, but you're not having actual like pain when you're going to the bathroom. Also, something else that I didn't talk about was the first time that you go, number 2, the first time that you go poop, because it's a big deal in the baby birth giving world. Usually the hospital will give you stool softener to help you have softer poop so that it can come out easier. So I got my own because I didn't think they would give me that for some reason, and then I didn't end up taking my own. Actually, I did when I got home. I took it for probably like a week or 2 just to like make sure, because for some reason, even though it's a different part of your body, it is very hard to go poop after you had a baby. But it wasn't super painful. It's just hard to like use those muscles, like I said, like they're all really messed up, and so trying to like push, you know, is kind of hard. But it wasn't that bad, and I definitely recommend stool softener. Okay, so that's the last question. This video right now is about 40 minutes. Hope Parker has fun editing. I hope you guys enjoyed. You can ask any other questions down below, and I will try to answer them for you guys. But I hope that this gave you guys some insight to what it's like to have a baby. It is so amazing and so fun. It's definitely hard to go through postpartum, but it is so worth it, like 1,000,000%. Everyone says that, but it's so true, because now I have the freaking cutest baby in the world, and she is so cute, taking a little nap right now. But anyways, that is all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.